Okay. I don't know what to draw today. I don't know what to draw today. I could draw what I just drew. Oh. Yeah. No, I can't. Dorito. Roman's gonna join. When your art looks this shitty. something there. I'm not really. You know what I do? It doesn't matter actually. You'll say crazy, but they don't understand. Sorry. Okay. Oh wait, I'm doing it on layer. You know what? Fine. You guys could comment if there's actually anybody here. But if there's not, damn. Whoopsie daisies. A singular project done. Okay, I guess we'll have to watch Mama. Okay. Closing that. Go for it. I kind of want to try to draw this on paper. Asher, finished products done. Do I have any notes? No, I don't have a talking thing. Supposedly darker. It is indeed darker.
School education. Said. What the Sigma?
This is the only color to be used. It's brown. Which means that here's this color too. That means I have to draw with black. And it has to be this color again. Because that's the skin color. Now go back so we can back. The bat looks so silly. Don't worry, I'm actually drawing. Here, I'll show you just in case you don't believe me. Ta-da, I'm drawing. Let's go back to that. And back to Okay. Now I have to go back to adding like okay. Don't red. So this will be an incomplete project. unless I do it like this. Okay. And then make this, I guess. Then I ask for this part. Good thing I have blues. Blues. And then I have to go black to get an outline. And then I have to go back to the blue. And that's as good as we're getting for right now. I'll later. What was I doing? Here. I can't do the hair properly, so we'll just have to bear with me. Okay, this isn't good. This isn't as good as I wanted it to be. Ta-da. Okay, now we'll find one that I actually get this. No one's here. Everyone's gone. Drawing is pointless. I want these. Ooh, after this. I'm gonna draw it as me. my god, oh my god.
Oh, so my volume isn't on for any comments for some reason. It should be on, but I'm not sure. I don't know what to draw though. It's my only problem. I'm gonna scribble. Scribbles. Ew.
You know what? We could watch YouTube together.
A young artist on Twitter ended up embroiled in another controversy, and it's the same artist that did the fan art of Dandadan where they changed their characters to black. By the way, I've already made a video about this story as well, and I kept the artist's name censored throughout the video because they're 16 years old, and I did not want any hate or anything sent towards the artist. Their art piece ended up being like the one that was used as an example on Twitter, and I don't think it's fair to somebody that young to be embroiled in such a controversy that isn't even really about them specifically. So we'll see in editing, but I likely will keep them anonymous in this video as well because I don't want any hate sent towards them because again, they're 16 years old. Please do not send hate to those artists. But this was the piece in question. It was the art piece of, I absolutely forgot her name actually, and Okarin from Dandadan. So after that post and thankfully everything died down, they made a commission for two people who requested some Dandadan commission. I think the art piece looks really cute. It is two individuals drawn as, again, Okarin in the like turbo granny form and I forgot her name. Ayaka, I think, right? And then another artist by the name of Sing Ichigo had made a post about that commission, and they had then taken their tweet and I unfortunately ended off the internet now. In response to that call-out post that was made by Ichigo, the Dandadan artist then made another post clarifying their side. Writing, guys, I just did what they asked. So here we have DMs between the artist and the person commissioned them, where the artist was like, you have a reference, and the person commissioned them sent art piece and said, my boyfriend chose this pose, so bear with me. And this art piece again is of Okarin in the turbo granny I remember her name. And they're in a very distinct pose where Momo is kind of like standing, arms stretched above her head. Okarun is squatting with his head against her waist, with the mask half on, like hanging off his face. And then some more DMs where the artist says, so for the pose, but I stop at the waist. And the commissioner says, yes. We'll also forgot to mention that you can put orange pants underneath the skirt. And the artist reacted with that. And then Ichigo makes post clarifying the situation art the artist. And they show side by side.
Okay, well, this person, this artist might have obviously used it as a base. Here, I'll show you what I mean. They used it as a base that isn't really a base. They went like this. And then obviously they then added the character to it. They wanted to make it as close to the pose as possible. The artist wanted to make it as close to the pose as possible, so they did this over it. And then of course they drew the characters.
Of the art pieces. And I will say, I believe this one by Ichigo might have been that was then deleted because it's no longer on there from what I can see, but could be wrong. And I would say when I first saw the side by side, I was like, ooh, again, that was before reading everything. So Ichigo writes, so yesterday I woke up a lot of notifications, and I was pretty confused as I was going through them. It seems like the artist was commissioned by somebody to draw them as Okarun and Momo, and set my art as a reference, not knowing who actually worked. Because again, they sent an art piece where it says says pose like this, and there's a TikTok handle on these. It looks like screenshot. And Ichigo says, now this connects to the fact if he didn't know, this specific piece has been posted and stolen for selling purposes without my knowledge. A lot of people believe that this is official art, but I posted this piece on TikTok, and that's where it blew up. So this is the original art piece that Ichigo made, and as you can see, it got 643,000 likes on TikTok. And Ichigo asked, so I wouldn't be surprised if the commissioner thought it was official art, even because I make my watermarks as small as possible and not too noticeable, because I don't want to ruin the feel. I was overwhelmed by the fact that this piece almost feels like a curse. And here we have some anime graphic website or TikTok account, right, where they're selling anime fashion. And as you can see, they write Momo X Okaru, and it is stolen from Ichigo. From literally Ichigo slapped on what looks like Ichigo continues. It felt like it was here just to bring me discomfort. And since I'm already not doing too well, I let my discomfort show in the situation. I do admit that I'm not happy, but it's true that even at first I thought it was clearly not. And as you can see, they overlap together, and there is no overlapping lines between the art piece made by the artist and Ichigo's original. And I'm using the word original just because Ichigo drew it first.
StylePad AI works for you and your customers. If fall in love with them.
I never had any issues.
So they never traced it. They just did this over it. And then changed the posing a bit. And so it's yeah.
With the artist, nor against said, I was not looking for attention or trying to send hate. The artist does not deserve hate. The two of us. It's clear that she's the one that received the most of it, and I'm not okay. And again, that's likely in reference to that original piece I showed you guys that became a really big debate topic on Twitter. Ichigo continues. It's true. I have this picture as a reference, and I don't own the post, and I'm fully aware of it. You can stop bringing it up. I'm sorry for the way I reacted. I said I was overwhelmed and didn't think. And here is a photo with two people posted by the name Isabella Lay, and the other person by the name Diana_Bogdan, and they're again very similar to the one that Ichigo. After responding to like literally two-thirds of the comments that I kept on the day, I realized I had to fix the situation. I had already received an apology from my messages. I wanted to personally apologize. I didn't want any of this. I understand that many people have been on the situation just like at the moment I really wanted this. I don't care if the artist is referenced as long as there's peace. And after talking that we have feelings again, and we aren't all righteous. Stop sending all of this, Commissioner. It's true that they could have looked for drawings, but I can't blame it. As I said, that drawing has been so many times, and pretty much nobody belonged to it. I had a talk with and we cleared the situation. It's a ridiculous drama that should have first place, and it's still unnecessary. To the people who like spreading and giving help, or just thinking something harmless, please go take a walk from chair before putting your hands on the keyboard. This is all. Again, no hard feelings at all. I just want to chill and romance as I say, and especially make friends. Thanks for taking your time to read this. Show some support to the artists and your parts. Hope everyone's having a great time. After reading over this.
To those who do not know this YouTuber, it's Cat and Chat. They do very detailed videos on artists that are accused of tracing and stuff, and she tries to find both sides of the thing to see if it's actually real that they traced it or not.
It's like there were so many of small mistakes growing up to where it led to. For me personally, I empathize because seeing the similarities, I can see how they felt uncomfortable with level of similarity because the fact that it's the same. Even though there are drawings, there are other aspects to it. One of them being like specific choice to specific Okuran's half mask and when Okura has on his face, so half mask is kind of a choice that carry just kind of really take it from. But it's multiple steps, right? I don't think the commissioner should fall for grabbing some artists and using it as a reference. Do I hope that guys know better? I do.
Just so I could see if you guys could actually see what I'm watching and doing. I'm gonna
I
try.
think the commission will fall for grabbing somebody's art
Give me a second. Just so I can see if you guys can actually see what I'm watching. I'm gonna try. Give me a second. Just so I can see if you guys can actually see what I'm watching. Give me a second. Okay, well, I just realized I traumatized you all.
Ink gone, confidence on. Laser away. Book a free virtual console now.
Know better? I do. But I don't expect average consumers or just average day-to-day people to understand kind of like the nitty-gritty ethics of art and art referencing commissions, etc., right? It is very, very normal in commissions for people who want artwork commissioned to send reference work from other artists as examples because they're like, I like this, I like this, I like this. I would say ethically, the artist should not completely remake somebody else's piece, as in like there's only one reference. You know what I mean? Like if I really, really liked this one art piece and I give it to the artist and I'm like, can you remake this but just stick my face on there? I don't think that's necessarily very ethical, even though the art piece was not traced and it was literally redrawn by somebody else, because you're starting to tread too many lines there. And the way this could be stopped is, again, if the commissioner from the get-go offered more than one reference piece. So maybe like, I like this pose, but I like this outfit, but I like this facial expression, but I like the way the hand looks in this. And like, you know, again, you bring all the reference pieces together and then now we can make a piece that is uniquely...
Yeah, if you look at only just one reference, it doesn't really work out that well, because then it would seem like it's traced because you're only looking at one reference. If you look at multiple references and you combine them, it actually helps you figure stuff out.
Individual. I think that could have avoided all of that. But again, I don't expect non-artists to understand that. So I don't fault the commissioners whatsoever. And again, like each...
You combine them, it actually helps you figure stuff out.
Individual. I think that could have avoided all of that. But again, I don't expect non-artists to understand that. So... And again, like Ichigo mentioned as well, Ichigo recognized that their art piece was one that became extremely popular to where a lot of people assumed it was official art. So that is a testament to how good their art was and how amazing the quality is. But yeah, again, you know, there is that thing too where the commissioners could have thought, hey, I don't want to grab like another artist's work. Here's some official artwork that I'm going to use as a reference instead, and completely not realizing. So again, I don't expect non-artists to kind of understand the nuances of it, so I'm not faulting the commissioners. I would say if you are an artist receiving a commission, ideally if somebody presents you somebody's artwork and asks you to remake it, I personally don't feel comfortable doing that. If somebody commissions me and they're like, I like this artwork, just change this one aspect, like give it a helmet instead. I don't feel comfortable doing that because I'm essentially like recreating somebody else's essence into another piece. That's just me personally. I would ask for some other references, something else, so we can kind of like get some more pieces together, so I'm not referencing only one artist's singular art piece. But again, right, like one, they are a young artist, and look, like I know that now, but me at 16 years old, I would have not realized that at 16. So secondly as well, again, right, like again, like Ichigo said, a lot of people assumed it was just an actual art piece produced by Dandelion. If you're under that assumption as well. The artist does a lot of edits, things like that, right? And if you just take like the official art piece, you know, the ethics around reproducing something like that is a lot different. If they were under that assumption as well, then I can completely see how, you know, they might see that one piece and be like, oh, you know, that's official art. Yeah, I can redraw that for you. Like, don't worry about it. I don't fault the artist either, actually, in that situation, because I can see how there could be a misunderstanding. They're young. I can see how they assumed that it could have been official art, whatever. So I do see where that could be coming from as well. And then there's also the side of Ichigo where I didn't see the original call-out post, so the severity of the call-out post would change my opinion. But, you know, I can understand, too, from Ichigo's point of view, how they might look at it and be like, oh, I'm a little uncomfortable at how similar it looks to my piece. Even though it's not traced, right? It is a completely redrawn piece. There's a lot of essence of Ichigo's piece kind of in there. The whole thing is this comes from referencing only...
Oh, never mind. She's about to talk about it.
One artwork. If you only reference one art piece from somebody, it's bound to end up looking similar to the original art piece. And even if he didn't intend to like copy, trace, whatever, it's gonna look really similar. So there's just kind of like that fine line to walk. If I were in that scenario, would I make a call-out post if somebody like kind of took my art piece and redrew it in their own way? I wouldn't. I can see how something like that could make an artist uncomfortable. So the artist makes their own tweet writing. We've talked about it and we just realized it was a misunderstanding. And then somebody asked what was there to address, and the artist replies LMAO, that it wasn't tracing, I think. And Aster writes literally nothing to address, I'm crying, and the artist says crying emoji. And like people on the internet are kind of 50-50 about this. We have Twitter user Ari writing, there is no way this guy's used a photo as a reference and now is saying they heavily referenced their art and sold it. You used the photo as a reference to make your art, and she used your art as a reference for hers. There was no stealing or tracing from no one. It's a pose. Again, with the 3 images. Again, there's always a discourse as to like nobody owns a pose or this, that, and the third. It always is an interesting situation to kind of walk. And I think the following tweet that I can read you might add a little bit more clarity. We have this person, Darkmon, writing, there's a big difference between copying a photo and an artwork somebody worked on for hours. Why do you think most artist references use photos instead of other artists' artwork? Because that's what you call plagiarism. And this is a photo that I've actually referenced in the past as well. That was attached. Oh my god. Let me search for the original artist of that. So from my understanding, that original graphic was made by this user on DeviantArt by the name of Scallion, I hope I read that right, where they call it my chart. But going back to the chart, it is a tier of traced to just reference, right? Where the trace is literally basically one-to-one with like maybe 1 or 2 things changed. Right here, the tail is changed, and they labeled this one as tracing. Highly referenced, a lot of aspects are still really similar, at least over 50%, but a couple of things are changed. They write, highly referencing is when you look at somebody's work and try to duplicate it line for line. Even if you change things slightly, it shouldn't be posted, or at least you should contact the artist for permission. Highly referencing is a great learning tool for helping you learn how an artist does things. Can even help add some of their own style elements to your own, but shouldn't be posted without permission. And referencing is when you look at it and you add a few key elements. I would say again, the work does err anywhere between highly referenced to reference. It's definitely not traced. It's definitely somewhere in the middle ground here. Again, in my personal opinion, there's enough grounds for a little bit of discomfort from Ichigo, but I personally wouldn't have made a call-out post about it because it's not enough in my opinion. But I don't think the artist who did it had any ill intent with what they were doing. I don't think they saw the piece and was like, oh my god, yeah, here's this like art piece made by this small artist, because again, there's a big following difference with the artist having 55k and Ichigo having, I believe, like around like 890, like 900. But yeah, it is pretty similar. And again, with the pose thing, people always like to argue, oh, like nobody owns a pose. I would actually argue if an artist had made the pose, as in, it's not like somebody else and then the artist referenced that pose, then you don't own the pose because you referenced another photo. Like in this case with Ichigo referencing a photo. There's been cases where it's like 2D anime characters and the artist specifically like drew that pose. It's very unique to them, and then people traced the pose one-to-one and then drew over it and then added different elements, you know, so like maybe made the hair longer and added a dress instead of pants. Okay, you're starting to tread into the highly referenced tracing area here of this chart. It's always like a really kind of muddy gray area where people on the internet like to debate the whole can you own a pose, can you not own a pose thing. So I'm really curious about your thoughts on this whole situation.
I think I accidentally go into the highly referencing photo section thing. Like I'm placed there, but I try not to highly reference unless they have like a what do you call them? Draw over a base thing? Oh yeah, that's what it's called. If I draw over a base, that's because they made a draw over the base type thing. It's not because, so, you draw your character over that base. You could change the pose if you really want to. But sometimes you could just, go over it.
What do you think about the scenario if your art piece was then referenced by somebody else for a commission in this manner? How would you feel about it? I don't think the artist was malicious whatsoever. Somebody would approach them for a commission, they sent a reference piece, they just did what they were asked. And again, they're really young, and it seems very likely they could have assumed, like what Ichigo said, that it was official art. I don't want any more hate sent to the artist. Like, please don't send hate to any of these parties involved. I'll keep the artist anonymous for the reason of I don't want any hate sent towards them. They're only 16, and when I was 16 years old, I did not have the ability to understand all of the nuances about art, all of these things, like what is ethical reference, all of that. Like, bro, first started playing League of Legends when I was 16 years old, okay? So you only know that it went downhill from there. I'm curious about your thoughts. I would love to hear it respectfully in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like to subscribe. I have an Etsy shop where I sell some like emotes, overlays, stuff like that. I also stream on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos. Peace.
Can we
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to fill up this part in my sketchbook, and I wanted to record this in a way that is conversational, kind of like you're on FaceTime with a friend and just chatting. Well, I don't know if that's any different than how I usually film a video, but I just wanted to iterate that I encourage you to also bring out your own sketchbook and draw along with me. And the best part is you don't even have to say anything back to me. I'll use my upper body strength to carry this conversation, and you can just focus on drawing. It's almost kind of like FaceTiming a friend that just won't stop talking. If you're in the mood for that, then I hope you enjoy. And again, I invite you to pull out your own sketchbook and draw along with me. But if you don't feel like doing that, or you feel like doing something else, feel free to do that as well. Or just relax and sit back and listen as I ramble about things. Like, for example, the dream I had last night, because oh my goodness, it was awful. And I was so happy to wake up this morning and realize that it wasn't real. Oddly enough, this does require some backstory. Okay, so I just had a trip to Japan. It was just the best. It was so much fun. It was wonderful. But ever since the first time I had went to Japan back in 2019, I have been haunted by a succession of recurring dreams of forgetting my Suica card when I go back to Japan. And it got worse because in each subsequent dream, I would remember that I had been dreaming about this over and over, and I would get increasingly more frustrated with myself that I keep forgetting my Suica card. And the main frustration behind that is because I don't want to get there and like have to buy another Suica card because I already have one at home and I don't want to have two. So it's just one of those things that would bother me deeply. I am very happy to report that I did not in fact forget my Suica card for this past trip because I had everything together and kept it in my sight the entire time leading up to the trip, and I thought I am not going to let this become a reality. And thankfully it didn't. But it was funny because my husband had loaded his Suica card onto his digital wallet, so he was able to sort of very easily and quickly pass through all of the train gates. But I had my Suica card in my physical wallet, but I would always have to make sure I had my physical wallet in my hand. I would have to stop and like get it out of my bag or something if I wasn't holding it. And he was very much like, well, it's so much easier if you load it onto your phone. And I had to remind him, like, there's a reason why I need to have this physical card with me, and I need to use it, because I've been so deeply troubled by these dreams I've had that if I don't physically use this card, it could cause insurmountable psychic damage to me. But he was totally right, and if I was a normal functioning human being, then I would have done it the exact same way. But the dream I had last night was somehow so much worse. It had nothing to do with forgetting my Suica card, but long story short, in this dream, all of my family was like going to Japan, like super short notice, unplanned, and I was like, oh, okay, I mean, I'll come with you guys. So it was like my parents and my husband and I, and we're in line in the security gate, and I realized I don't have my passport, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I was in such a rush, I didn't get my passport. So they let me sort of like run back to my house, but then I'm realizing, like, you know, I wear contacts, I'm like, I need to get my contact case, and there were other things, like little essentials. I wasn't trying to like get everything in the dream. I had enough sense, like, okay, I can only grab what I need because I do not have enough time. But in the dream, I had to like, I didn't just go home. I went to like all sorts of different like buildings and places where like my stuff might have been. At one point, I like flew into this office building because they had an entrance above the ground, and they were so like disturbed that I had infiltrated their office building that they had came and like raided my room later. But I like didn't care because I was in such a rush. And then when I thought I finally had everything, when I turned to head back to the airport, this violent rainstorm was just like, it was a torrential downpour, and on top of that, it was one of those moments where I was trying to run, and there was just like a force. I don't think it had anything to do with the rainstorm, but I just like couldn't run fast, if that makes sense. I was trying to run fast, and there was like a force, like it was making me run really slow. And then when I finally got to the airport, they told me that that plane had left a while ago, and all of my stuff was with my family. I was so stressed out, but they had given me my phone back, and I stood there and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I thought to ask, well, is there any other flight that I can go on? And they said, well, the next one leaves like pretty soon, so you better hurry. So I rushed through security, and security was like, the first part of security was I had to crawl inside a small box and like go through like a scanner, so that was, you know, claustrophobic. And then I go into this next underground room where there's a person getting like surgery, and it's so stressful. And the only way out is through one open brick in the underground wall, and I have to like dig out like more bricks to like make room because I can't fit through the small hole. And I asked the doctors too, like, is this the only way out? And they're like, yeah. So I'm trying to rip more bricks out of the wall to try to get out of this underground room, and then I happen to turn around, and there's also like a plane platform down there, I guess, and I noticed a plane approaching and then leaving, and I thought, oh, well, that was probably the plane that they were talking about. So I was like trapped down there, and I didn't know what to do, and I like didn't have any of my stuff, and I was just like holding with my hands the stuff that I grabbed to get there, and it was just so terrible and stressful. And I was so happy to wake up this morning and realize it was all just a dream. But honestly, I think I would have preferred to forget my Suica card again than to have gone through that, because oh my goodness. But anyway, so yeah, I've taken a break from drawing for a little bit, and I'm finally getting back into it. I'm trying to get more comfortable with taking breaks, especially with art, because I feel like taking a break with art can be very risky, at least in my experience. I feel like if I take a break with art, I risk not having motivation or inspiration when I want to come back to it. But at the same time, paradoxically, breaks are so important because sometimes that mental rest is exactly what we need so that we don't burn ourselves out, or so that we come up with even better ideas. So this spread that I'm doing today, I just wanted to draw basically a bunch of things that were well within my comfort zone and that were easy for me to draw to really help me smoothly get back into things. When I really think about it though, I think the biggest stressor for me personally when it comes to taking a break from art stems primarily from my Instagram feed, oddly enough. I don't know, just for some reason, if that weren't a factor, I don't think it would be as hard for me to just naturally take breaks when I need to and then get back into things. But because I have this record of artwork that at some points I regularly upload to, and at other points there's a gap in between my work, for some reason that's a big stressor to me, and I often get very stressed to return to it, worried that I'm not going to make things that are as good, or I'm just so sick of seeing the same things on my feed that I get this overwhelming urge to archive a bunch of posts or even like start over. I don't really get the whole like starting over with a whole new account feeling anymore, but I will say the one time that I did do that back when I was rebranding anyway, it actually was one of the most beneficial things that I could have done at the time to continue my motivation to keep doing art and stuff. But yeah, since I've done my rebrand, I don't really have that desire anymore. I think it just stemmed from wanting to rebrand. Instagram just stresses me out in general, but I'm trying to make the conscious decision to not let that happen. Like, I've honestly at this point kind of just given up on growing my audience there, and instead I'm focusing on the audience that I already have there. I'm mostly just creating for them, and I'm not worried about getting new eyes on my work on Instagram in particular, just because through many trial and error attempts, it just, at least for me, I'm just speaking for myself, it seems very futile at this point, and it's actually one of the reasons why I decided to start YouTube up again, because I was seeing a lot of success from other artists in expanding their reach and growing their audience, and honestly, I feel like I've had a really good experience with it too so far, and it's also just really nice to return to my roots in a way. I used to do YouTube when I was really young, and it was a lot of fun, and honestly, I forgot how much I really liked video editing and stuff, so I'm happy to finally be doing this again. I just got Procreate Dreams too, and I've been playing around with it, so I'm really looking forward to being able to upload animations again soon too. Now, it has been a while, and my skills are very rusty, and they weren't honestly that great to begin with, so bear with me when I do start posting animations again. And just like with everything else, we can continue to learn and grow together. The year is drawing to a close, so I am beginning to plan all of my content for the next year, and I hope you look forward to it. I'm excited to see where this channel goes too, because I'm just as much in the dark as you are. I have no idea where it's going. Anyway, thank you as always for watching. If you like what I make and you're interested in what I do, please consider liking the video and possibly subscribing if you want to see more. My other socials will be linked down below, and if you really like what I do, if you consider supporting me on Patreon, I would be so grateful. I would be so happy if you were to join our little latte art club. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.
The source is a magical place.
Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Diva and I'm a freelance artist in New Zealand. Today's video is a really chill, relaxed sketch with me video. I filmed this at the end of like a busy night, and all I wanted to do was just sketch in my sketchbook and not have to think about it. I am referencing some girlies, some cute aesthetic outfit kind of girlies from Pinterest, so I can link down my Pinterest board if you guys are curious. That is literally where I get everything from. I owe Pinterest my life. So when I was filming this, it was around the time period where which I still am currently, but planning and designing shop products, so that would be prints and stickers for an upcoming shop launch that I will be doing. So I was feeling kind of burnt out, like trying to come up with designs and also stressing about the type of mediums that I want to use and how that will show up digitally and if it will be good quality based on like scanning. And so I was just feeling really on edge or tense about art lately, which is why the only thing I wanted to do was really relax and just sketch, and this is why I didn't want to have to think much about it, because I've been thinking so much lately about what I've been drawing, and also for like making content to post, I've also like been just thinking and planning posts for social media. So it was really nice in this video to just sit down and unwind with some loose sketches. So for my sketching process, I think just in general of how I sketch, with whether it be like characters, objects, animals, anything, honestly. And I'm sure this is a general rule for most artists, is that you draw in like the basic shapes. So for this girl that I'm drawing right now, I drew in her face. I always like to start with the head when it comes to characters, just so I get a nice placement, but you don't, like, you can do it however you need, but so yeah, I start with like the placement of the head, and then I do like a rough line for the body, like which way the body is facing and the angle. And this is called the line of action, I think. I think that's the concept that it's called. So it's basically just showing like a basic gesture of how the body will look before it's all polished, which is like a big thing with figure drawings and figure studies. So something that I think is key to take away from those is that line of action, so that shows how the body is posed, basically. So after I do that like simple line of the angle that the body is facing, I draw in like the very, very rough shape. So for this girl, her body's like more front on, but it's on a bit of like her leg is bent a tiny bit, but her body is generally front on with a bit of like a tilt. So the line of action isn't completely straight, it's a bit curved. And then I draw in the shapes for her as well. So her body type is kind of curvy, so I draw like, I do like quite sharp shapes, but then I round it out, of course, because that is my style at least. And then from there you just begin polishing up the shapes and making them more defined in regards to what you're going for or your reference. And that's pretty much it. And as for shading and different values, I feel like there's not much to explain upon that, because I know that there's different methods that people use for shading and all that, but I just like literally just scribble it in, because I mean I do want to like try like cross-hatching and hatching and stuff more and incorporating that more into my sketches, but also I just don't sketch enough. That is another big thing, is that I want to incorporate more sketching into my just regular sketchbook, because I'm just so fixated on colouring everything because I love colour so much. But I don't necessarily think it's good or bad. I think in terms of like improving, I think it's good to sketch more, so that of course like if I'm colouring as well, I can improve my colouring and so forth, but to improve my actual drawing skill, of course I'm going to need to sketch more. So I do want to incorporate that too into my daily sketchbooking, which will be fun. Okay, so going a bit off of topic here, but not sure what else to talk about, so I think I want to tell you guys about what I've been watching lately. So I have dabbled in a few episodes of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Bro, it is actually so dark. I remember I was on, I think I'm only on episode 4 right now, but I think it was the 3rd episode. I don't want to spoil, but it's literally only the 3rd episode as well. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure most of you have probably watched Full Metal as well anyway, but it was so dark, like out of nowhere. Like I did not expect that, especially because the tone of the show already, like in how it started, is kind of like lighthearted, even though there's already like a heavy intro, like basis. But then it gets like, it out of nowhere, even like further down this depth of darkness, and I was like, what? And I was also eating, and it just made me feel like kind of sick, like the scene, and I was like, oh. But of course, this just makes me want to continue watching it, because it's so like out of the blue and just also interesting. So I want to see where that goes, so we'll update you guys on that as well. But before that, I was watching One Piece. I'm like almost up to date. I think I'm still in Wano, which is the current arc. Oh no! Now it's at Egghead. So I'm actually behind, a little behind now, but I think the anime is still in Wano at least, so I'm like halfway through Wano, I think. Or like, it's episode 9, or like over 980 probably, I think. But I'm like trying to watch it very slowly, because I don't want to get up to date with the anime, because I only watch the anime, but because I don't want to get up to date, because then I'm gonna have to wait each week for episodes. I'm watching it really slowly. One Piece to me is like an OG anime, or just show in general, because I kind of like, I don't know if I could say grew up watching it, but I've known it since a young age because my older brother who showed it to me, or just was watching it and I just look at the TV. So now I just associate it with like early memories like that. But then on my own later on, I watched it, and I also have rewatched it maybe twice, which is kind of wild, but I literally feel like I'm in a long-term relationship with this show right now. So that's pretty cool. It's just such a comforting show at this point, so I just sometimes I go back and I just watch some of my favorite arcs. So honestly, it's pretty chill. It is pretty chill. I'm sure you guys also have shows like that where it's just so comforting that you can rewatch it a couple times and it's like not really like draining or mentally taxing, because it's just something you can put on and you can listen in and out, or just like re-enjoy and re-feel those emotions you felt when you first watched it. And I just get that so much with One Piece too. Like, it can make me cry. Like, no matter how many times I've watched the scene, if I watch it again, I like the same emotions are gonna flood back to me. So I just think that's pretty cool. Oh, also, before I watched One Piece again, because I watch it like on and off, but I also watched Heartstopper on Netflix. So for those of you who don't know, it's actually a book series. I did really want to read the books. It's like a comic book series, I think. But I've always just seen people, like, especially like on BookTube and stuff, that have been reading Heartstopper. And then I didn't know, but the second season came out this year. So when that showed up on Netflix, I was like, oh, wait, I know this show. I didn't even know that it had a show already, but the newest season came out, and then I watched it and it was actually so good. It was so cute, and the characters just like warm my heart. Like, everyone's just so cute and wholesome. Oh my god, and don't even get me started on the ships in the show. Like, they were actually so cute. I think I liked the majority of them. I don't think there's any. Okay, this is an unpopular opinion probably, but by the end of the show, I think I was getting a little tiny bit bored of the main two. What's their names? Nick and Charlie, that's their names. They were so cute in the beginning, but I think once they just started like dating and then it was progressing, I think I just felt a little bit less interested. And I was just more like, because I think the part that like always gets me the most with romance and why I like it so much is like that beginning stage before like they solidify everything, like the two partners. And that's just like the most like captivating and like interesting part. Oh my god, don't even get me started on enemies to lovers, cutest thing ever. But Nick and Charlie, they were really cute together, but yeah, by the end of it, I think I was more interested in Al and Tao, I think that's his name. Their relationship, because they were more of a slow burn as well, but a bit slower, of course, than the main two. And the amount of diversity in the show is just crazy. It's so like refreshing to see as well. And yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. It was just such a cute show overall. Okay, so I think that pretty much sums up the voiceover portion for the video. I hope you guys are enjoying, and Thank you guys so much for all the support recently. It's actually meant so much, and I just can't like express how much it is just so nice of you guys to be so supportive and reach out and comment and like and subscribe and everything on all platforms as well. It's just, I'm immensely grateful for it, and yeah, just thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay, I think I'm done.